everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing an ACOTAR reading vlog. So I'm actually refilming this intro because two main things have changed.
No one cares!
So I've already gone through the first book and I'm almost done with the second book, but we're just gonna pretend like I haven't started this vlog and just talk about it like that. So for this reading vlog, I originally was going to just read the entire series including the new book, but I realized that's probably gonna be long. So in this first video, I'm going to be reading the first 3 books, and I've already read the first 2, but I'm going to be rereading them and then reading the last one, and I may read the novella as well. I haven't decided because, you know, like, I just don't have that much time. And so yes, I'm going to be reading these 3 in this first video, and then I'm going to be making a second video where I read the new book, A Court of Silver Flames. And I'm going to kind of also be doing this in collaboration with Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages, because we realized we had like the same idea, so we're going to post our at least first videos around the same time. So this first book at least is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and our main character kind of lives in this world that's connected to another world that has fairies in it and fae. And one day she's out hunting because she basically takes care of her entire family, so she's out hunting to get food for them, and she kills a wolf, and this wolf actually ends up being a fae who shapeshift into the wolf. And for retribution, she has to go live in like the fairy realm with one of the high lords, and it kind of just takes off from there. This first book I originally gave 4 stars, and the second book I gave 5 stars, and it's one of my favorite books of all time. And as I said, I haven't read past these first 2 books, so I'm definitely excited to continue on in the series. So honestly, that's really all I have to say for this intro. I just wanted to do a little introduction. I already filmed this like 2 times and I had to refilm it this 3rd time, but that's okay. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce this vlog, and I will see you guys with an update. Hi guys, so this is the first clip I'm doing for this video. I actually haven't even done the intro. And sorry if my voice is a little scratchy. I lost my voice and I'm slowly getting it back.
What happened to your voice?
I have the coronavirus, that's why I don't have a voice.
But I am over 1/3 of the way through, almost halfway done now. And I'm deciding to update, and that's through the first book, A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I am halfway through and I'm really liking it so far. It is a little bit slow, which is okay. I know that her books aren't necessarily super plot heavy. I am really liking it because it's just like reminding me, it feels like I'm coming home, if that makes sense. Like, Sarah in general is one of my favorite authors, so her writing is always a comfort to me. But this series in particular, even though I've only read the first 2 so far, it still feels like I'm coming home. It feels familiar, even though I haven't read this for a few years. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm actually on chapter 19. I just finished through 18, which is page 166. And as I said, I am really liking it so far, but it still is not like a 5-star for me, just because I'm not the biggest fan of Tamlin. Especially, I think when I read it, I was fine with him. He was just like whatever, but now, knowing everything that happens in the second book, I really don't like Tamlin.
Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
He's obviously extremely abusive and controlling and manipulative at the end of this book and in the second book, and it's honestly crazy, but so far you don't really see that as much, and I don't think you necessarily see that because Sarah writes his character really well, in the fact that she's writing him really well for being an abusive, manipulative person. And so far, obviously, he doesn't really open up or care about her too much, but we kind of find out that he kind of always cared for her. But a lot of people who are abusive and manipulative will often like be really amazing in the beginning of relationships and then slowly dissolve into being this horrible person. And I think that's why we kind of see it more. In my mind, I've always seen the shift as very like abrupt, but that's kind of how it is in real life. So I understand kind of why his character is written that way. Lucian, I know a lot of people really like Lucian. I'm not the biggest fan of Lucian. I actually really like Lucian.
See, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
He's fine. He's better than Tamlin by far, but he's not my favorite. And where we are so far, Feyre's starting to get closer to Tamlin and Lucien. Like, Lucien just gave her a knife, dagger, being like, it's like, don't stab me in the back, but it's yours. And so I am liking seeing the relationships develop, but I know kind of how everything goes down, so it's kind of like, you know, but I'm really excited to get to like the more juicy bits, like when they start going underneath the mountain. Like, I love that part because I love trials and things like that. And obviously Rhysand shows up, and Rhysand is the star of the series. I'm just really excited to get to the second book because the group in that book is amazing, but I'm still really liking this book just because of the writing in the world and seeing Feyre how she was in the beginning. But Lucien and Tamlin I could do without, but they're part of the series and the development, so I don't think I am necessarily, like, I'm liking this more and less than I did the first time around, just because, as I said, the writing makes it feel like I'm coming home. Like, it feels comforting to me, and her writing is so digestible. Like, I can read through it so quickly, and it makes me want to keep reading, which, even if I'm liking a book, that doesn't always happen. But as I said, Tamlin and Lucien, I definitely like their characters more before, and so Feyre is kind of like meh right now. Like, I like Feyre, but right now she's not at her prime, and then Lucien and Tamlin are the only other characters in the book right now, and I don't really like either of them, so it's kind of a rough time with that. And I am excited to continue, though. I haven't picked this up for over a week because I'm deep in a Criminal Minds hole. If you guys have been watching my lives, I've been talking about Criminal Minds a lot. I watched it a lot when I was younger with my dad. We would sit down and we would watch the shows, and I was supposed to be asleep because I was like 4 or 5 when the show first came out, so I was supposed to be asleep, and we would just watch the shows together, the episodes, that in like CSI, some NCIS. He liked Cops too, but I don't really like that show. But specifically Criminal Minds, I remember the most. Criminal Minds is always something that I was like, yeah, like, I love this, and I always wanted to go back to it and rewatch it. And one night I just went onto Netflix because I was bored, and I was like, what should I watch? Found Criminal Minds, clicked it. That was like 2 weeks ago. I've been watching Criminal Minds like crazy. I did the math, and 27% of my time in the past 15 days has been spent watching Criminal Minds, which is a little crazy.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Do I want to read or do I want to watch Criminal Minds? So hopefully I'll prioritize this a little bit. It's been rough to try and read. Every day I say that I'm going to read, and then I don't. Anyways, that is all that I have for this clip. I don't want to make my clips too long just because I'll probably update you guys towards the end of this book, if not at the very end, just because, as I said, I don't want to make too long of updates or too many updates because I don't want this to be super long, but it'll probably be kind of long. Hi guys, I finished ACOTAR finally. It took me like 3 weeks, not because of the book, just because I've been in a Criminal Minds hole. I've watched 8 seasons in 3 weeks. I'm on the 9th season right now. I wanted to film this clip in my bedroom because I'm really been loving my bedroom lately. I even turned so you guys can see I put up these vines on these 2 walls, and I have like a little witchy area back here, and I even got like a new sheets and a new bedspread, and I'm just loving it. Like, it's such a vibe in here. I also know that my hair is really floofy. I just haven't touched it today. I just took out the bonnet, shook it out a little bit, and that's it. I haven't done nothing to it. But yeah, as I said, I did finish A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars, which is what I previously gave it, even though I think in some aspects I didn't enjoy this book as much, but I don't think it's the book's fault necessarily. Let me explain. Okay, so I loved the second half of this. It's my favorite because the first half I feel like is kind of slow, just developing the world that doesn't even really exist, because Sarah is not known for her world, except Crescent City. Crescent City's pretty good, but besides that, it's not really known for her worlds. But I love trial aspects in books. It's one of my favorite things. So when they go underneath the mountain and Feyre's doing all of her trials, like, I really love that part, especially because she's getting a lot more interaction with Rhysand, who's obviously a king. I love him. I stand him. He's my everything. He is one character. Like, most book characters I don't really think about. Like, after I finish the book, I don't really think about them a ton. But Rhysand has been one that has always stuck in my mind for a really, really long time. And I just adore him. And I really like when Feyre, for her last trial, she kills Tamlin, and then all of the High Lords and ladies, you know, give a piece of themselves to help revive Feyre. I just love that part so much. I think it's so powerful and such a big turning point in the series, obviously. And I know at the end of this, there's like that part where Feyre and Rhysand are talking, and Rhys kind of like jumps back and is shocked, and then he disappears, and Feyre's like, what the heck is going on? And in the second book we learn that that's because he like, that's when he found out and saw that she was his soulmate, and it shocked him. And I just love that part now, knowing that that's what that means in the second book, because when I read it I was like, what is going on? But now that I know, it's like, wow, like I loved seeing that. But on the other hand, I think the reason I didn't enjoy this as much is because of what I know happens in the second book.
Basically, Tamlin.
I don't think I was particularly attached to Tamlin in this book when I first read it, but like, I liked him. I was like, ooh, like romance, cute, whatever. Now, anytime Tamlin was being like cute or romantic or anything like that, like I would just be disgusted and grossed out, because he turns into an emotionally abusive, manipulative, overprotective person, and that's not cute. That's not the moment. He's too much in the second book. As it is right now, I haven't read the third book, so I'm assuming that he's bad in that one too. But now that I know that, all of like the romance parts in here, I was like disgusted.
Disgusting!
Especially people could see on stream my facial expressions. I was like, and I could not, like, I love this book, especially the part underneath the mountain, but like I could not read about Tamlin being disgusting anymore with my eyes. So I just put the audiobook in, and I was organizing during my sprints because I wanted to do that anyways. I wanted to show you guys. I literally made this meme of myself. So there, you guys can see it, and I said, when you're rereading ACOTAR and Tamlin is talking too much. Yeah, kind of describes it. I just hate him. He's honestly,
He's such a little bitch boy.
I said what I said, okay?
I said what I said, and
always.
I'm not changing on it, okay?
He is so annoying, and like you can see the hints of him starting to be like, you know, abusive in here. And when I first read the second book, I was like, oh, like this is kind of weird, like kind of like a turn, because I didn't think Tamlin was bad in this book. And then obviously in the second book he's really bad, so I'm like, what changed? You know, but I've kind of come to realize that that's how abusers are. They're not going to be abusive at first because they want to lure their victim in, you know? And I'm not saying that he doesn't care about her. A lot of abusers care about the people that they abuse, but that doesn't justify their actions. I think in this book he's not as abusive, or doesn't even appear to be abusive, because he's trying to lure in Feyre, you know, and he doesn't even know that he's going to care about her. And then being underneath the mountain and her dying kind of triggered him a little bit, and that's when he became the way that he is in the second book, even though we can kind of see him being that way in the first book. So yeah, overall I did like it, and it was nice rereading it. It took me back, but I'm glad to be out of the Tamlin
disgustingness
and move on from that crusty dusty bustedness. And I'm excited to just move on to one of my favorite books of all time, A Court of Mist and Fury. I have never reread this, but I adored it when I read it. You can literally see, I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can see it, all of like the white fingerprints on here, for me bringing it to school, and on the back, and like the corners messed up. You can see that this book was loved. So I think I'm gonna actually get through this one quicker, even though it's thicker, just because I love Rhysand, I love this book, and I'm just really excited because it's just everything to me. And yeah, so I will actually probably start this tonight because I'm just that excited, and I feel like with the environment that I've created in my room, with like the leaves and like the candles and whatever, and it's like actually pretty like nice outside. It's a little cool, but it's really actually nice, and I have the window open, and I feel like with all of that, it's just like a nice point to start reading this book. So yeah, I will definitely try and start reading this book tonight, hopefully. And yeah, I think that's all that I have for this update, and I'm gonna go eat because I'm hungry because I haven't eaten today, and it is almost 5 o'clock. So I'm gonna go eat, and I will talk to you guys in the next update when I start reading A Court of Mist and Fury. Okay guys, look at what came. You can't even see. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no. My Barnes & Noble package came with my A Court of Silver Flames. Let's see if I could do a satisfying pull tab. Oh, couldn't even do it at all. Okay.
I agree. I've had it, and I'm so.
You know what I've had?
It.
Oh wait, there's another pull side. Oh, it broke off just the same. And it is here. Ah, it is so. I mean, it's not so pretty because the cover
is ugly.
But the end pages are pretty, and I like how it's orange. I just don't like the cover. But this book is thick. Like, in a lot of Sarah's books, they move to like Bible paper to like make it smaller, and I know this one is longer than the second, but it looks bigger than the second, so I thought this one was pretty long. It is $6.99, and with the other pages it's like 700 something, and this one is with the extra pages at the end because this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which has the extra scene in it. With that, it is $7.65, and for it being not that much longer, it is significantly thicker. So I think they should have used these types of pages because this is thick and it's not that much bigger than this one. So that's something that I wish, because it's easier to store that way. But I'm so excited. I couldn't get the signed one because they were sold out, and this actually does have a little scratchy mark on it, but it's okay. I just wanted to unbox this with you guys because it's exciting. I haven't read any more of the book, even though it's been like a week, because Criminal Minds.
The level of unprofessionalism, far too much.
This clip makes absolutely no sense, and IDKY I thought reading these random live comments would be so funny, but that laugh had to be included.
I'm doing reading sprints right now, and somebody was talking about how some authors' books fell off of a ship after printing, and I was like, let me try not to laugh. This live with no context, Boston Tea Party karate chops on the neck. Anyways, that probably makes no sense, and I probably won't even keep it in here, but it's funny to me.
Girl, please. No. Sorry. Next.
So I am officially at part 2 now, which is chapter 14, and I'm loving this. Like, I'm having such a good time. It's finally come to fruition that, you know, Feyre really understands that Tamlin is not being cute, he's not being kind, he's being too much, okay? And, you know, he really is just treating her unwell, and she feels trapped, and I think it's really adding to her anxiety because we saw that he left her and she really did not handle it well. She did not enjoy being trapped. She really, I think she was having a panic attack, and it was terrible. But then Rhysand came in and swooped her up and said,
"Hello, baby."
And I love him so much. He really just came in and saved our girl Feyre, and you can tell that even though she's not the biggest fan of him, he really does care about her and uses even his friends. His friends now care about her and want to protect her, and it's just so cute how he's just really out here trying to protect our girl. And I just love Rhysand so much. And I finally got to the part in the book where Feyre is brought to Valaris, and she goes to the house for the first time, and she's like, wow, like, this is a home, like, this has been lived in, like, love is in this home. And I love that part so much because I think it just shows like a different side of Rhysand and his friend group, that they're not just friends, like they have a familial aspect, and they love each other so much that they've created a home together. And Rhysand has this home where he truly lives and loves his life, and that's just a different side to him that most people don't see. And I love how Feyre's finally getting to see that. Not much has gone on because it's only like not even 150 pages in to this big book. Like, I'm right here. I'm not super far in, but I just wanted to update you guys and tell you guys that I'm just loving this book, and it's amazing, and it's really starting to get to the point where Feyre is over Tamlin just like the rest of us, and she's starting to actually realize that Tamlin's not as great as he first seemed. And I think that's a lot of people when they jump into relationships and they don't really dig deep. They're kind of hit with things that are unexpected and that they weren't actually prepared for, and they realize that that person is not actually for them. And I think that's really what's happening to Feyre is that she's realizing that Tamlin is honestly kind of a jerk, and not even kind of a jerk, he is a jerk.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. Jerk.
And he is not just overprotective, he's controlling and manipulative, and it's not cute and it's not the moment.
I'm not gagging.
And I'm just really loving this. It's amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to reading because we have about 20 minutes left in the sprint, so I do want to get some reading in, and I will come back with you guys when I have something to update on. Hi guys, I'm back, and I finally finished A Court of Mist and Fear. I actually finished this 2 nights ago on Sunday night, literally like right before midnight. So it did count for February, thank goodness, because I needed a 3rd book. But I finally finished. I did put a couple tabs. I didn't really want to go through and fully tab this book this time around just because I wanted to get through it. I was already in a reading slump, and I knew the tabbing would just slow me down and make it worse. So hopefully I will reread it again soon-ish, and I'll be able to tab it then. But I finally finished, and I was going to give you guys more updates and things like that, but I literally was like, I need to get this in for February. So I binged like the whole second half of the book, literally like 300 pages in a night. So yes, I give this 5 out of 5 stars. Again, obviously this book is still one of my favorites of all time. I just love Rhysand so much, and I think he's such like a precious little being, and I do love like the whole crew. I really do love this book in major part because of Rhysand, just because I feel like he really shows how people can be good people, but to the outside world they don't really show that because they're trying to protect the ones that they love and the things that they care about, but they're actually like a really amazing human, which happens throughout Rhysand with all of this. He does it literally, he goes underneath the mountain to protect his friends. He literally does everything to try and protect Valaris, and the quotes in here are phenomenal. I know everybody gets on Sarah for her writing and they say that it's bad. I don't know if I have bad taste, but I actually really like Sarah's writing style. I'm not saying it's the best writing style, but I actually really like it because I think that she's pretty good at descriptions, but it's not like too flowery or too over descriptive, if that makes sense. It's like descriptive without being too descriptive, and that's what I really like. And she's so amazing at building her characters and their relationships. You can see, especially with Rhysand's friend group, how they already have an established relationship with each other and how all of them have really deep connections, and that's something that I think Sarah is so good at, like previously established relationships. I do see the complaint that some people have with this book of how Sarah kind of just turned Tamlin into a bad character. And I feel like it was a little bit abrupt. It could have been more of like a seamless transition into him being how he was, or he didn't have to be as bad. But I think it was also kind of realistic, as I think I talked about in a previous clip, how people who are manipulative aren't generally like that in the beginning of relationships because they're trying to like trap the person, and it takes a little bit, and then especially when they go through a traumatic experience like that, it can really trigger those nasty parts of people. And I also really liked seeing Feyre's transition into being Fae. That's something that I really like in this book, especially the beginning, is Feyre's obviously been a human her whole life. Her turning into Fae is like a really big transition and adjustment for her, and I think that this book talks about that really well, and how it kind of changed everything. Obviously it did change everything, but like even just the way that she holds herself, presents herself, the way that she interacts with the environment around her, and I really like that. I also really like her relationship with her sisters and how she tries to keep it going. And I remember at the end of this book originally where her sisters get turned into Fae, that part literally had me shook the first time. I was like,
what just happened? I am shook.
Like, I literally had my jaw on the floor the first time that I read that, because I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I was not expecting that at all. And I was like, not Tamlin taking her back. Like, I was like, no. The second time around, obviously I knew it was coming, and I was like, but it was okay. It was okay.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. Things are gonna be okay.
And the part where Lucian figures out that Elaine is his mate, also had me shook. The end of this book had a couple, it really has some plot twists. The first time really caught me by surprise. This time, as I said, I obviously knew they were coming. Overall, like, Rhysand is my baby, and I love him in this book, and I love us seeing Feyre growing into her own human being and starting to flourish, and it's just so precious. So I also started A Court of Wings and Ruin, and I was listening to the audiobook when I went on a walk today, so that's when I started it. So I'm trying to choose a bookmark to put in here that kind of matches. I think I'm going to go with this one. It says, my workout is reading in bed until my arm hurts. Even though I have been working out a lot, that's why I went on a walk today. So I think I'm on chapter 8-ish, so I'm really not far in at all, but I actually am really liking this book. I think Feyre in this book is so powerful. I remember this one quote that she said. She was like, I am the nightmare. And I was like, oh, queen. Like, she's being so manipulative, and I know that's like not like a good trait, but like
Scorpio vibes.
Hey, Jesse.
If you guys don't know, I'm a Scorpio. So, like, she's giving off the Scorpio energy, and I'm living for it. I'm here for it. She's really like, manipulation. Who?
I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but girl, I am living.
And I'm just here for it. Like, her, like, just, like, playing everybody in the spring court is really just hitting different. I'm like, okay, Miss Queen. I also like how we're getting introduced to the Prince and Princess of Hybern, because we haven't really met them, obviously, and we have seen like all like the lords and things like that, but like I like seeing the more expanded world. And yeah, like honestly, Feyre's just being queen, but I'm ready for her to get back with Rhysand, because this is not it. I need my baby. So, and he's just like not in it that much. They talked over the bond a couple times so far, but like that's nothing. Like, I need him, but like I understand she's being the manipulative queen that she is, but I see her kind of like, she says that she's like manipulating Lucien, but like I think that she actually still cares about him and wants to be friends with him. And I think Lucien is like a good person who is manipulated by Tamlin. So I'm excited to see how their friendship is going to flourish, and if it is going to flourish at all, because I actually really like Lucien. I would say Rhysand and Cassian obviously both rank above Lucien, but I think Lucien comes in third. I don't know if he's tied with Azriel. Like, I like them both a lot. And then Tamlin's obviously like negative 1,000 points below all of them. But yeah, I'm really actually enjoying this so far, because I know that I said this at the beginning, but just to remind you guys, I have never read this book. I'm reading it for the first time, and I'm really, really liking it. It says that I have about 7.5 hours left on the speed that I'm listening to, which honestly isn't that bad. The audio is like 26 hours long though, so. But why did I do this? What is this? I don't know.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents?
So that's all that I have for this update, and I will talk to you guys when I make more progress through this beauty. Hi everybody, I'm updating this vlog. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm a little messed up.
Well, I'm updating this vlog. I haven't updated in a while, but I am now 70% in to A Court of Wings and Ruin, and the lighting's kind of bad, but I thought we could do like a little skincare moment while we update, because a lot of people ask what I use on my skin, because apparently it's nice skin, but my hair is also different because I got it re-dyed and it's shorter, so it's in like a poof. But honestly, I was having a mental breakdown because it was like purple, like dark purple, and that's not what I wanted.
This is not what I want. This is not what I planned.
I wanted it like reddy pink like I had it before, and yeah, it was a mental breakdown, and it's still kind of dark, but it's a lot better than it was. I basically just washed it bajillion times because, you know, as one does. So I'm gonna do my skin while we discuss. So hopefully this isn't too boring and I can tell you guys what products I'm using. Anyways, I'm 70% of the way into ACOWAR, and this is part 3. And for a while I wasn't really liking it too much, because it's not that I wasn't liking it, I just wasn't enjoying it as much because I'm not really like a big war person in books. That's not really my thing, and it's very much like a war book compared to the other two at least. But I'm actually really enjoying it again, because there was just like this whole, not scene, it was like a couple scenes with the different high lords of all the different courts, and I really liked seeing all of that and the politics, and yeah, that part was honestly like amazing because I loved seeing all of them interact. Oh my gosh, this AirPod's dying. I loved seeing all of them interact, and it was just really fun, and that was honestly some of my favorite parts of the whole book. And then I'm also really just loving seeing obviously Feyre and Rhysand interact with each other, and like I feel like in a lot of books, romance series, romance books, you don't really see the couple like be together for a long time. You generally just see them get together and then they're like together for a little bit. But since this is a series, they got together the last book, and then now we're spending this whole book with just seeing their relationship, and I really like that. And I love seeing how much Feyre has grown to love all the other characters, and how she thinks of them as family and how they think of her as family, and it's just so cute. And then also with her sisters there now, it's really interesting. Poor Elaine, honestly, Miss Girl is not okay.
Seatbelts, everyone! Please let this be a normal field trip. With a friend? No way!
Cruising on down Main Street, you're relaxed and
Sis is traumatized, and I feel so bad. And I understand why people dislike Nesta, but like I low-key kind of like her because she is kind of mean sometimes, but mostly me on the inside. I try not to be too mean like on the outside, so she's more me on the inside, but like I resonate with her. So I think I will really like The Court of Silver Flames. I'm honestly really liking this book. I don't think I like it as much as The Court of Mist and Fury, but I like it more than ACOTAR. So that is good. And yeah, I'm just really like seeing everything, and all the courts finally know about like Feyre and like her power and her relationship with Rhysand, and kind of living for all of them knowing the tea, because Miss Feyre does not have to hold back. She does not have to be like a meek little girl anymore. She is a queen, and that's it, period. So I'm kind of really just living for it. I just love the drama between the courts. I love the tea, but like now they're about to go to war again, and so that's a time. We'll see what happens with that, because I forgot to do my vitamin C, and if I do it afterwards, it makes like my stuff pill. Okay, well, we'll just try. We'll try. Yeah, it's starting to pill. We'll just try and like tap her on. Like, am I okay? Literally smacking myself in the face. I don't think I'm okay, honestly.
You fucking need help, bro!
But yeah, I'll show you guys the products that I just used. So I used these. I mostly used The Ordinary, but I used the niacinamide 10%. Okay, Miss Ma'am. There we go. The niacinamide 10%, because I have dry skin. So this is why we use moisturizing things. And then this is the hyaluronic acid 2% plus BH5. And then I use a little bit of this. Sometimes I don't use it every day, but it's like their lactic acid, which helps like exfoliate, chemically exfoliate. Then I use this vitamin C. Oh, we use this vitamin C suspension. This makes everything pill, but I bought it and I'm too lazy to buy like a serum. And then I use the CeraVe moisturizing cream. I know it's in a tub, which is like unsanitary, but YOLO, you know? And then in the morning, obviously sunscreen. I use the Beet Shield by Crave. It's kind of staying at the bottom. Ignore that, please. And yeah, I also like to use this from Wet n Wild. It's like supposed to be a primer, but it kind of makes my skin luminous, and so I use that sometimes even if I don't wear makeup. And yeah, I'm gonna go because it is like 3 a.m. so I kind of need to shower. I need to go to sleep. Okay, I will see you guys probably tomorrow because I'm gonna finish this book, and so hopefully you guys will see my cute makeup. So that's all that I have, and I'll update you guys tomorrow, hopefully, crossing the finger. Hi guys, so I'm back with an update because I finished A Court of Wings and Ruin. I finally finished the original 3 books, I give this one 4.5 stars, so I definitely liked it more than ACOTAR, but I liked it less than ACOMAF. I think I was telling you guys last night that I was a little bit bored by the war, all of like the war stuff going on, but at the end it really like made sense and I wasn't as bored by it. And I also really liked in the second half how there was a lot of politics with the other courts, and seeing all the courts interact with each other was just amazing. And I know I have glitter on my hands because I was swatching some of them, but I just love this. The one thing that I will say is that this did wrap up in a really neat bow, and I think I would have loved that a while ago, but now like super neat bows are not like my favorite thing. I'm glad nothing detrimental happened to the characters and they all survived with basically no consequences, which is very unrealistic, but it makes me happy. So it's kind of a drawback and something that I like. It's a positive and a negative.
That shit don't even make no fucking sense.
So like that's the one thing that I didn't really like too much about this, is that it did wrap up so neatly. But as I said, like I did like it in a sense, but it did kind of seem like a little convenient that nothing really happened to any of the characters. And yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this. I just thought the end was so cute and wholesome. This is the book that we see Nessa in the most. In the first book, she's in it a little bit. The second book, she's in it even less. And then this book, she's in it a lot, and so is Elaine. And so a lot of people hate Nesta in here, but I actually really like Nesta. I guess I'm just in the minority because a lot of people hate her even in A Court of Silver Flames. But I really resonate with Nesta, and I think that she just has really high walls to defend herself from people. And, you know, maybe she hasn't gone through as much trauma as some of the other people, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been hurt before, you know? And so I understand why she is the way that she is. And I really, really do like her character, and I think that there could be a lot of depth added to her character that will come in A Court of Silver Flames and whatever more additions that she adds to the series about Nesta and Cassian. And I love Cassian, I love Azriel, and I really, really loved Lucian in this book overall. He was kind of absent in this for like the second half, but I did really just love him, and seeing him and Elaine start to grow a little bit was really, really nice, even though Elaine is still kind of holding on to her past. Like Elaine out of all of them is probably the most traumatized, and Amren is literally like not what she was. I also didn't cry or get anything really close to crying in this, just because I knew that like all the characters were going to be fine. Like there was basically, I knew there wasn't going to be any consequences because of A Court of Silver Flames. I feel like if I read this before I knew A Court of Silver Flames was going to come out, like a lot of people did, then I really would have been concerned that something was going to happen, someone was going to die, something was going to happen, but nothing really did. And yeah, I really, really, really liked Feyre in this a lot. I feel like she's gone through a lot of good character development throughout this whole entire series, and I just loved how she's grown from the first book. In the first book, she's utterly annoying. In the second book, she starts to come out of her shell. In this book, you really see her be the high lady that she is. And she really takes power into her own hands. She does what she thinks she needs to do. And Rhysand respects that. And I know a lot of people are like, why do we love him so much just for giving basic human respect? But that's not something a lot of men give in general in life, is they don't give women and their partners the respect that Rhysand gives Feyre. And I just really appreciate that. Even though it should be the bare minimum, it doesn't happen enough. So seeing it was just refreshing, which is honestly really, really sad, but it's the truth. Still hate Tamlin. He did do a nice thing at the end, but I still hate him. I've loved seeing Rhysand and Feyre's journey together, to how Feyre came from this small little village and she had nothing, to now being the high lady of a court in the Fae world. And I think that her story is just amazing, and how intertwined with Rhysand's is just, it's spectacular. And I know a lot of people pick on Miss Sarah, a lot of people pick on this series, but I love this series dearly, and I wouldn't change it. I think it's so beautiful and stunning and perfect. And yeah, I just really loved this book, because this was, as I said, my first time reading it, and I just think it was amazing, and I'm so happy that I finally got around to reading this. Hi my friends, so I already filmed a wrap up for this video, but I wanted to quickly go over it. I don't have the physical books with me, but you guys should know what they look like by now. And the reason I wanted to refilm this wrap up was because I actually changed some of my ratings from what I originally said, because I always do that. Like, I eventually always change my ratings. I feel like I need to sit on a book to really understand how I feel about it. So for ACOTAR, I decided to actually lower this down to 3.5, which is kind of what I was debating originally when I first rated it. Because the first time that I read it, I gave it 4 stars, and this time it was nostalgic for me, but I was really annoyed a lot of the time because of what I already knew, so I decided to lower this down to 3.5. I think that it could be a 4-star read if I reread it and I literally didn't remember anything, or I didn't read any farther in the series. But since I did, reading this book just wasn't what it was the first time, so I decided to lower it down to 3.5. Obviously, ACOMAF is still 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorites of all time. We ain't touching her. And then ACOWAR, I lowered down to 4.25 because a lot of the things at the end did seem really convenient. I wish that there was some sort of repercussions for what happened. The only repercussions were literally that, you know, Feyre's dad died and that Amren is not at the same power that she was because, you know, she died. But everybody else was fine. Like, I wish that there was some sort of death almost. I don't want to wish death, but like, I feel like we could have dealt with a little bit because everybody stayed alive. And it's not that I want people to die, but it felt like that there was no stakes, nothing, because I knew that they weren't gonna die. So there was like really no stakes at all. And I feel like even if there wasn't death, she could have done something in there to give something wrong, you know, like, and it was just a little too convenient at the end. But I did still enjoy it more than the first book, but it just really was convenient. As I said, I still really liked it because I love seeing my characters so much. I actually have read A Court of Frost and Starlight, and that is going to be in my Becca's Bookopalathon vlog. I don't know when that's going up, but I did read it for that, so you guys will see my thoughts on that as well if you watch that vlog. And then I'm going to be reading A Court of Silver Flames and vlogging that, but that video probably will not go up until sometime in April because I have a lot of book club books and things that I need to read as well.
I'm the actual worst, and I forgot to say please go watch Naelle's vlog because she's such a vibe and deserves more support. Watch or stab.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really don't know how long it's going to be because I have not inputted any of the footage. I don't know anything. But I hope it wasn't too long and that you guys enjoyed it. But that's all that I have for this video today, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, everybody.